because Zoom,
That's right. Yep.
Facebook have a bit of a delay. Yeah, man. Let's get the party rolling.
Yeah. Good morning. Good morning.
I know.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so just checking in. So we are live. I believe we are live anyway. Let's just
Perfect.
check. So, welcome to Mic Drops Up Close, everybody, and good morning and happy Easter and holidays. We've got the amazing Fredrick Sandvall with me here, who is a fantastic serial entrepreneur. You are literally. Come on, let's be honest. So, I mean, I want to just touch on. Well, let's just touch on what you're doing at the moment, and
Sure.
then we'll go back a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So for people that don't know Fredrick, which is, I think if you're in the property and lending world, I'm sure you all do. Fredrick literally has done a lot of things. Currently you got probably a good few businesses running at once, haven't you?
Yeah.
One of the ones I saw you recently speak about was FundX, which is a funding and for a crowd. Is it crowdfunding as such, or is it?
Right. So I got a couple of different ones. So Fundic is just a trading name for a company where we help companies to find money, basically.
Yeah.
In different shapes and forms.
So it's a bit like a consortium.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I have shares of various business in that one, including also crowdfunding in a company called Crowd with Us as well. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, awesome. And I want people to give a bit of to listen to a bit of your lowdown, because you come from Sweden originally.
Yeah.
What was the point when you were younger that sort of made you think, right, entrepreneurship's the way I'm going to go? And I mean, you're in the army, we know that, in the
Yeah.
Navy.
Yeah.
You're a leader, or you're captain in the Navy.
Yes.
You obviously went from that, and you've obviously got developed skills from that, which are have been very beneficial to you as you've gone forward in your businesses. But what was the point where you thought, right, I'm going to leave from here?
I decided that I like entrepreneurship way earlier, just like the entrepreneurial spirits, try to do a hustle and some things like that when I was really young as well. So my first company I actually set up when I was 17 with
Wow.
the sole purpose to learn how to run a business as part of one of the things we did in school, actually.
Right.
Like in college, like economics and business studies as well. So that way we set up a company and learn how to do that. And just very recently, I noticed that out of the four of us who were in the business, all of us are now multimillionaires one way or another in currencies as entrepreneurs, which is very interesting and really, really rare because most businesses actually fail.
Yeah, it's true.
Quite quick.
Yeah, it's more common than anything else, isn't it? I think, is it within the first 3 or 5 years? I can't remember which one it is, but yeah, most fail, literally. Yeah. So what would you say has been the sort of the glue that's kept you from failing? Because you've obviously, this is not the first, that wasn't the first business you got into and started to get your hands dirty with. You've done this multiple times, so obviously it's in your DNA. So what would you say, if there was one thing that you'd have to put it on, what would you say would be that glue of success that's helped you?
I would say drive.
Drive. Okay, I love that.
Just push with it, which also, of course, is added by other words, which is, for example, discipline. And another one, which is quite usually in any business, is called sales.
Yeah.
So if you don't sell, you don't have any business. And if you can't sell whatsoever, then you're in trouble. Then you need to have someone else who's doing it really well for you.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. I think, to be honest with you, I personally have the mindset issue of like selling my services. Yeah, and I think a lot of people have that problem. So I can do it, but I do it for attraction marketing. Yes. But when I do well that way, and I just closed a really great deal recently.
Yeah.
But if I'm being honest with you, I hired someone that helps me with the sales, Matt Elway. You probably know him.
That's fine. That's great.
Training me up a little bit. But like I said, I probably have to come to the point where I'll have to hire someone to actually do that bit for me, because that's something that just inbred as since a child. I think it's quite crazy.
Yeah.
So
No, we also had a guy on one of our podcasts recently, also Richard Newman, and he was exactly the same. He really did not like to speak in front of other people at all, which means if you can't do that or struggle with that, building a barrier for yourself is really hard to do business.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm just going to put us on gallery view. There you go, so people can see us both together. So, I mean,
Yep.
I want to, so did you learn those skills at the business school, or was this something you learned by sort of negotiating in your captain position?
It's things I picked up along the way, the whole way. That is all the way until today. I still do lots of personal development today as well. So in terms of just how to run a business, there's quite a lot of small bits and pieces that fits into that. How to attract the customers, how to maybe hold a team, how to produce a good service or a product. All of those things are really, really essential. I mean, we're both in the space of property. That could be, for example, even just selling the idea of someone selling to you at a lower price, even, or that you need to find the right tenants. Yeah, you need to sell your projects to a developer that they like to work with you, or a funder.
Yeah.
So it's with you along the whole way, one way or another. Some kind of influencing. It can also be negotiating, where you take your idea and the other person's idea and merge into a better version. Maybe close to what you want, maybe not, depending on how good you are. But the whole idea of entrepreneurship, you don't need to be an entrepreneur to be successful. That's it. You can also be an entrepreneur. You can be like an entrepreneur, but inside someone else's box, and that's fine as well. I would say many people in sales are exactly there. So they're almost like running their own little business, but they do it maybe on your behalf, or they're selling your products, or helping you with your tenants or whatever it might be. I say entrepreneurship is really interesting. Right now, it has become almost like a fad over the last few years. So before, now it can be almost like an entrepreneur rock star, if you see what I mean. I mean, we met up with, for example, Nick Jim's event last year, where he very much takes the whole entrepreneurship to the level of putting you on a podium, make you look really good, and then also, therefore, you feel really good about yourself, so you can share that whole message in a great way.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, he's a great entrepreneur without doubt, and he brings that glue in that brings people together and so on. And yeah, fantastic guy. I'm on his mastermind, and obviously, we've been on a mastermind together, haven't we? With the property stuff, we've been on the same mastermind there. And I believe in mentorship, and you do mentorship yourself, don't you? And I think it's really, as do I. I think it's really important. It's like, you go through that hard slog, and it is a hard slog. I don't care what anyone says, and it's hard because you've got to obviously there's a little bit of well, obviously there's the educational side, but there's a little bit of competition, isn't there?
Exactly, yeah. I respond really good to those environments.
Yeah, I was going to say. But I'm thinking more the property one, because there was like, get to a certain level by a certain time and all this kind of thing.
Exactly.
I managed it, and obviously you did, and I mean, that's great. But the truth is, even if I thought I could do that alone, I probably couldn't have, if I'm being honest. Because
same for me as well. I got all the drive to be able to do it on my own, but by having the right peer group, allowing you to normalize what you do, which is really a bit freakish.
Yeah.
Another peer group recently has also been to like write a book, and because everyone I know in that group, well, most of them at least, they try, or they've already published a book. So therefore, it's normal to write a book. I mean, everyone does it, right? I mean, you can see in my Facebook feed, like everyone's writing a book, everyone's publishing a book.
Yeah,
very natural. Same with property. to have a group, it's called a mastermind, whatever. You can have peer consulting, you can help each other, you can collaborate, you can compete, you can do whatever you want, and learn from each other.
Yeah, definitely. No, I totally agree with you. I mean, even this podcast, it's like I'm in a group of people that just talk about podcasting and
exactly.
And I just think it's really powerful stuff, because you don't know what you don't know at the end of the day, do you? And I think that's why it's important to sort of like plug in. And I mean, like another great guy, Rob Moore, talks about, why learn from your own mistakes? Why not learn from others?
Yeah, exactly.
I think there's a lot of truth in that. But talking of this connection and helping people succeed through mentorship, I love you got like a bullet point on your LinkedIn, which says you measure success by how much you can help people grow.
Yeah.
And that really connects with me, because I love that, because that's kind of strangely like an epiphany to me, because actually I was trying to find my reason why, other than my son, because my story's been about my son and why I started investing. Yeah, well, everyone knows it. I say it all the time. It's powerful.
It's important to you, for many people around you, and therefore people can connect with you. You're real.
Yeah, thank you. But I was losing me as well. So there was an element of like, what would have been my why if that didn't happen to my son?
Yeah.
So I was thinking what it is, and I've got this natural wanting to help people, and that bullet point said it all. It said it all. That actually really. So I want to thank you for that, because actually,
please use it. Please make your own version or copy it, because it's a nice one.
Yeah.
Big warning sign though is really not the right way to set a goal.
Yes.
Because you're very much exposing your success to what other people are up to.
Yes, absolutely.
But I'm fine to do that.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense, definitely.
Because it makes it harder in many ways. And also it means that I can and have to also be more selective who I choose to work with. So
yes.
If you got your own mastermind group and you'd like to really help people, try to find people who are actually prepared to do something.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely.
Work with people who you're actually allowed to influence and work together with for more than just like a one.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I keep it really small at the moment. I only launched it at Christmas time. It's been good, but no, you're absolutely right. I like to keep it small, because you can connect better with people, and that suits me as a person. But let's talk about your different businesses. I mean, let's go through a few of them. So the Fundex, we touched on that, and you spoke about that at the event that we went to, the Expert Empires, and that was something that was actually, a lot of people don't normally see.
You don't see it, and you don't even get it.
No, you don't. I mean, a lot of people. Yeah, a lot of people
try to frame what it is. So if you think about, at that specific event, we were around 1,000 entrepreneurs there, and in the end of the day, who in the room would like to have an extra 5, 10, 50,000 pounds or an extra million to just push into their business? Like you can see like all the hands, obviously.
Yeah.
But coming back to this, but I have no idea how. And I don't even know where to start. Well, if you're not prepared to take advice or any help in that space, I'm sorry. So I think one reason why that room wasn't completely full, of course, breaks, etc. But I think we lost like 25% plus of the whole room for that session, because they didn't see what it was about.
Oh, you mean the fund?
I mean specifically in that presentation, just to use as an example, was who wouldn't like to fund their business better. So one thing that Fundex is doing is just teaching, educating, mentoring people how to do that. But I'm not doing too much of mentoring, but I'm very much like deal enablement, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, no, it does.
I'm making a deal possible that probably wouldn't have worked otherwise. So, for example, a developer who is stuck on a bridge and they're very much like on the verge of going bankrupt, and like, would you like to be fully funded for getting rid of the bridge and everything else you need. Like, okay, number one, okay, it's like £300,000, and then next stage is like 500,000, and then another 1.9 million. So you can do everything you want, basically. Like, who wouldn't like to do that? That's your space. So that's like one way to do it. Another way, of course, is helping other people how to do it. Many tools in the toolbox. So, for example, with crowdfunding, yes, being one of them. I know that you've tried that before as well, successfully.
Yep. Yes, I have. Yep.
So just allowing people to connect with you and to also benefit from all your hard work and your whole team's work by connecting the crowd as lenders to a potential borrower, which might be a developer or a business owner, depending on what kind of crowdfunding it is. And just doing that connection. But it's also linked to the whole entrepreneurship thing, which we started with, is linked to what you said before, like the attraction marketing, to use your words, to allow people to want to do things with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Whatever reason is right for them. So yeah, that's kind of like funding. So therefore, I have also started to accumulate like more of assets in that company. So another company, someone also I think, Sheila Holt.
Yeah.
And Sapphire Lending, that's a pure credit brokering business where we got lenders and borrowers and we connect them. But that's not at all a platform. It's as far from it as you can be. Just building on trust, and it's very much the people connection.
Yeah.
And then various other businesses which are all linked to property. Two actually not too far from you.
All right, cool. So you're doing one with your brother Matthias.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's Sandvall Invest, indeed.
Fantastic guy. I met him at another event in London, a different one. Really great guy. I mean, do you guys work closely together? Or are you very much separate entities?
We have worked a huge amount of time together until just last year. We still have got quite sizable portfolio together, and we still do things. I mean, right now we're doing a little restructure in the portfolio, and that is involving multi-million amounts of funding. So we still do lots of things together.
Awesome.
But also, since the other day, we're now allowed also to cheat.
All right, okay.
Cheat with others. So and that was also a refreshing thing for both of us in different ways. So don't want to talk about what he's doing too much, but in a very short time frame, he has done like an HMO, which is bigger than most people's portfolios, like in one house. And then the next one is way bigger. And meanwhile, I've got like 35 units on the way. So yeah, we've been doing quite well. Also, applying our knowledge, working with others as well.
That's brilliant. And that's what, I mean, this is the thing with you. You always apply yourself at the most optimum. And you've gone to mentorships. You did the platinum graduate as well. You've been to Roger Hamilton stuff. Who for people that are watching that have not heard of Roger Hamilton, he's developed a system called Wealth Dynamics, and it helps you understand you as a person and who you can work with best.
Yeah.
Let me guess. Are you? I get a funny feeling you're a deal maker.
Yeah, I'm high on everything except drugs. I'm very, very high on energy level.
I'm just explaining because people are probably I'm probably talking another language when I'm saying star, deal maker, lord.
Yeah, go for it.
But basically, there's a wheel, and it's and basically wherever you land is more your personality. Now I'm a creator, and I fall a bit into star, and that means I like to be out there. Although I'm quite introverted, believe it or not, I like to be out there, and so and to connect with someone that would work well with me would be on the opposite end of that of that wheel, and could be people like lords, which are people that are a bit more mechanical, a bit more thorough, and so on. So and obviously Fredrick's on everything. Actually, I was kind of equal, but I dipped down. I really dipped right down, like literally there was nothing there on the deal sourcing, the deal making. That was something that just dropped right down. I don't know why, because I like to do deals.
That's usually linked to the timing aspect. That's usually the key one when you're low on that one.
Yeah, that's true as well, because it can vary. So it's good to do it over certain periods of time. Definitely repeat the test.
Yeah, so yes, just to help the listeners. So on one side, you can be more creative. or you might be more of, I like to be on stage and influence other people. You might be more like to help others. I'm not using his labels, just try to help people to understand. Or you like to do deals. You might be really strong in terms of how you really good at timing things. You would like just hoard assets and accumulate. We might also want to be very much into the details, what you referred to before, like the Lord, or you're really great at systems. And these are just ways how you as an entrepreneur can really excel. And when you have got a grip of what you are, you can find out what do I need to have to succeed, which is what am I missing? Like you were kind of indicating that. So if you are, for example, very much like yourself, a creator, a store, then you need to have someone to help you with. Usually just jumps 2 steps to the right, which brings you straight over to deal maker in your case, which is you need to have someone to help you with the sales, which is exactly what you've spotted. So well done. and then someone also to pick up the details and that as well in due time. So as your team is growing, it helps a lot to have an understanding. So I'm a coach also linked using his systems as well.
Yeah, I mean his systems are pretty great. I mean I've got to reconnect with them, to be honest with you, because it's been a while, so I need to just reconnect. You went recently abroad to the island with
just
him.
a long while ago. I actually saw it on my own Facebook feed recently. More than 2 years. More than 2 years.
Is it? Oh my god!
Since I had my 2 sons out in Bali and working on their business.
We must have been probably came up on my feed then, because we've
I reshared it also.
That's why yeah, I thought you might have gone again. So we must have known each other a good 4 years now, isn't it? It must be about 4 years. That's crazy. It's gone quick. That's what's mad. It's absolutely gone quick. Got a really great photo of actually me, you, and Alex Siri.
I know exactly which photo it is. Yeah. I've bumped into him recently as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to connect with him, actually, get him on the show. He's a really great guy as well, definitely. But with yourself, what would you say? What would be one of the key bits of advice you'd say to someone when they want to invest in something? I won't even just talk property, because you quite a broad and they don't know how to approach someone like yourself or a company that does similar things to what you do. What would be the one bit of advice? I won't say one, actually, it could be a few bits of advice that that would put them in a better place to actually be seen, heard, and helped. Because I mean, obviously, you must get a lot of applications come through, and people fail. You know,
I mean, ultimately, if you like to get something, try to do the opposite. Try to be less needy. Because if you're too desperate and too much, just ask. So earlier this morning, about 5 o'clock, I sent a message to 5 people, which basically said, you might or might not want to help out. I've got a challenge at the moment, and here are the rough details, and just invited them to help out if they wanted to. They could have just come like, help, like I'm really desperate, like I'm perfectly fine without you, but you might actually even want to benefit from helping out if you can or want. It's very much up to them. I mean, in this case, would you like to have £17,500 over the next 4 months? Extra to what you can have for doing nothing, basically. And some people like to have an extra £17,000, and some don't need it, and that's okay.
And that's the cycle of investment, isn't it? You bring them in, you recycle cash out, you make interest on it, and so on, and timings and all that. So like with yourself, you also
so to dare to approach people is just try to flip it. What's in it for them? So sure, I was also asking for something, obviously, but they might not even need to do anything at all. They might just be the connector.
Right.
So what's in it for them? What I mean, for example, approaching myself like, what would I be interested in? Just try to analyze, like, okay, Fredrick, what does he have? Well, he does have some money. He has got some skills, but he might be short on time. So could I do him a favor that saves him time? For example, to find a great deal, to find a new potential investor. Like those are things that really saves me a lot of time, and something I would be interested in. And also just thinking from the point of view, is so common to just say like, but it's fine, I can buy you a coffee or buy you a beer, and which is really ironic, because number one, I don't even drink coffee.
Me neither.
I probably could afford this as well. And then in the same way, I can also buy a drink. Like I don't even drink alcohol. So
Me neither. My God,
really sad. That's just a stupid example. But those two things are so common, as to say. Try to bring up something different. Like what could you bring to this person that can really help you? So just same with you.
Yeah.
So how can I help Michael in Michael's life to make it easy for him? And can I offer that for free or whatever, or in exchange for some time where I can get some knowledge or some connections or whatever you might need, really.
Absolutely.
So try to not be needy. Think about it from their point of view, and then think about what do you bring to the table, because we all bring great things, but we usually don't see ourselves as great.
That's true.
We're usually very good at finding all the reasons why we are not worthy, whatever it might be. So therefore, try to same thing there. Flip your own thinking around your own worthiness, if you put it like that. Actually, we're all great, but luckily on different things. Otherwise, we would always be the same, but we're not.
I see. I love that. That really, because you hit the nail on the head, and you've got a new book coming out soon called "Trust is the New Currency," and that actually kind of like very much kind of like touches on what you're talking about. You know, I actually. I love the name, by the way, because it's something I live by, and I talk about it being true to yourself, attraction marketing, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, yours is about investment development and stuff, but you're also talking about the importance of that connection, which is so true. People underestimate it. I mean, people think it's fluff, but you know, by being yourself, you know, and obviously be professional. Be prepared, etc. But obviously be yourself. I've been very much myself, and now that will probably put people off as well as people attracted to me. And so people might say, "Oh God, he talks about his son a lot," but other people might think, "Bloody hell, that's a big driver. I must invest with him."
Exactly. I also have a family, and I really care about my kids. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so exactly. You're in a good position, because half of the people in the country will very much resonate with you because family is important to them, and the other half is fine. They have got something else which is more important. That's cool.
Yeah, exactly. It's cool, and there's no pressure either way. And I'm not bothered one way or another. I'll be me, and I don't care. But that's what I love about you, and I love even from it's quite a while now. Actually, you started embracing your children very early on in this entrepreneurial world. It was their choice. You never forced them. You weren't one of these like parents that like I want you to do this, and I loved what you created with them, and how you sort of like it was beautiful to watch how you actually helped them do what they wanted to do in their entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Could you explain to people what you did with your children and how you helped them grow their entrepreneurial career, because they're only young?
Exactly.
And it's great seeing your videos and
stuff. They are still very young, so I've been trying to use business learnings and combining what they learn in school anyway. Just to take an example for people on this podcast or Zoom or Facebook Live, think about when we learned percentage. We had no clue why that would be useful whatsoever.
True.
If you flip it a little bit, like if you combine one thing that what property can do for us, which is more linked to freedom. So one reason why I would like to learn how to use percentages, for example, we have this house, and 70% of it the bank will actually give you.
Mm-hmm.
And now it becomes really like they got this house which costs like £100,000. 70% of it will actually be paid by the bank, and therefore you need to find the other 30%, and you can split the pie in many different ways. Ultimately, just making the school learning, which sometimes really dull. I'm so lucky that both Ivan and Charlie are really doing great in school, and not and energy comes from within. It's not like we push them to do good in school. Yeah, of course we do a bit of trying to motivate them, but in the end of the day, no one will ever do anything unless the energy comes from within.
Yeah.
Try to create a curiosity for entrepreneurship, and try to help them show what they can do, which was so different to what is taught in school, and so extremely far from anyone in their age would even think about at all.
Yeah.
So many people might have heard about like the Rich Dad Poor Dad story, and
Love it.
It's just trying to explain like the uncommon common sense in how people's personal finance actually is important, and the way the system is built, it's basically creating lots of slaves, and that's fine. As long as the slaves are treated well. I'm not being stupid. Or
no,
something.
I know.
Maybe a little bit, but in the end of the day, we've spent like a big part of our life, a stage where we learn, like a big part up front, and then we've got another part where we more like earn, and then the last phase is very much like it's just a transition to die for many people, which is really sad way to see it. So if we just tweak that a little. So think about, like I spoke about the learning phase. It's not illegal to earn while you learn. So Ivan and Charlie, they did a course the summer after we went to Bali, where they were teaching other people how they could be entrepreneurs when they were 11 and 13. Of course, I was also there helping out. But that was like, so they actually made some money from teaching others at the age of just over 10.
It's beautiful.
And Charlie is doing some consulting work linked to, he's just been designing some artwork for the book, and doing quite heavy workload on designing the artwork linked to all the figures and illustrations in the whole book, basically.
Oh, wow.
Many hours, and he might get like £200 for that. And both Ivan and Charlie, they had some targets linked to the podcasting. So yeah, one little carrot was like, if you work with me and put in the hours, I'll not give you anything for free, then you will have like a fraction of this deal. So therefore, through the work they've done over the last 2 years, they will have around 12.5%.
Brilliant. Yeah.
In an HMO. So that will give them roughly what normal kids might get as pocket money. But there is a twist, and there is a very strong kicker here. So think about, yeah, fine, everyone gets their pocket money, but in this case, that means that they will only get pocket money when the HMO is up and running and full and makes a profit. Otherwise, you don't get any money. It becomes very clear that, I mean, you start to see the consequences, and there's very few consequences in society, especially for children, where we are trying to make their life so easy. So it means that they will understand actually income,
the value of
costs.
Yeah.
They will also, as a bonus to not just having pocket money, they have like a 1/10 of an HMO. And just to give you some super rough numbers, because it's like it's a live deal and people listen to this might do property. So we bought it at less than £300,000. And we do a very heavy refurb of around 120,000 plus. So we probably end up spending almost like in the region of 140,000 plus change to have it furnished and up to great spec. Which means in the end of the day, when we have done everything, we probably have blown at least £450,000, but it will be worth around 550. So what does that mean? That there is actually £100,000 of equity, of which they will have 12.5%. So actually, they don't only get pocket money; they get an extra like £12,500 of equity, which they can't eat, they can't drink, they can't buy games for it, but they will also get 12.5% on the full 550 as capital growth.
Yes. Yeah.
So come another 20 years, they would have made an extra 50k each.
Yeah.
At least.
Which is nice pocket money, isn't it?
Not at all. And even if they just fast forward to when it's like college time, that would be worth easily an extra £25,000 each, which is, yeah, that would buy you basically a good MBA course.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
that's the key thing. What you're doing is you're basically teaching them not to be spoiled. You're getting them to appreciate the value, that hard work that you need to put in it. It's not instant. It's going to take some time,
Exactly.
and they're learning at the same time. But the best part of it is that they actually choose to. They want to do this.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I love about it. You've never pressured your children. It's nice to see that the way you've actually taught them. It's really lovely.
And also try to help them to understand, like, you don't need to do everything. You can actually be the piece of the puzzle, which is something I just try to drum into them the whole time. So on one side, because someone would like to have something, and over here, someone has got something, like, just connect it, for God's sake. And you can make money in the middle.
And that's what's alien for a lot of people, because especially in the outside of the property world, where you might find a deal and someone might have the money, but they haven't got the time. And and what they tend to do is they'll donate the money towards doing the deal, and the person that finds the deal gets 50% of the deal. That's kind of very common, but they're sort of like running the game a bit. And for people outside of that, even when I started getting into it, it was quite a hard concept to understand that someone's going to give me a good chunk of money. I mean, I recently, a guy come from abroad, fly over abroad, wants to invest with me, and we're talking about potential deal. And I didn't know the guy, but the fact that he flew over, that was who wasn't the first that actually mentioned it over the years. I just never expected him to come over. But that was quite a weird feeling, to actually, to get that. But the truth is, now I'm in that world. I understand it very well, and it makes a lot of sense, because we haven't got time. Time is limited.
Exactly.
So it's nice how you do that. So you are the connector. You are definitely a deal maker. But I love the way your children, they did this video series with yourself, and the way they're very very clever for their age. They're very mature.
It's fun to see, because of course they pick up stuff. So the first thing we did was we call it Junior MBA, where we just shared content. So they were interviewing me, we were discussing stuff. So basically I was teaching them so they can teach others how to become entrepreneurs. And obviously their career as entrepreneurs is really, really short. So therefore they can leverage what I know as well. At the same time, if you compare to people of similar age or a couple of years older, they know quite a lot, because they have been to Charles, for example. He went to the Grant Cardone event in London recently, and they've been to 2 weeks out in Bali. They have been attending as helpers on the mastermind program in London now and then. They have been with me to lots of events like that. So they pick up things which should be good for. I'll see if we can pull someone in here. I'll just
go on and pull them in.
They might or might not come back. So first we did like the Junior MBA, which just share content for free. And obviously my key reason is I love to help others, and by helping my kids, I help them, and also we help the world. So someone in Africa sent us a message like, it would be great if someone can do it like what you're doing here. Like, okay, I'm sorry if you didn't get it, but we are trying to make it at your doorstep. As long as you got the internet, you can have everything we have. There you go, for free. And then we built on that later to do the podcast. Same thing there, just working together, interviewing others. Is really rare to have like 3 hosts on a podcast. It's really hard logistically when you live in different countries to arrange that, but it's doable.
Yeah, definitely.
So today I am in Sweden. So they are here. They might even come and say hi.
But so tomorrow you might be in London. You're everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. And then now that has evolved, so they've taken their own interest and try to build a foundation for the future. So Ivan started with Instagram. less than 2 months ago now, and is from nothing is up to 1,000+ followers, 1,300 something like that, where he talks about fitness and training.
Yeah, brilliant.
Just doing exactly what Gary Vee would say, like share your journey from like day one.
Yeah.
Like imagine if you could rewind and see what Steve Jobs was doing like when he started, so you can actually replicate and follow that model instead of just like, here is peak performance.
Yeah.
Now good luck finding out what we did on the journey, which will be impossible.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And Charlie, in a similar way, he's doing videos and focus more on YouTube content, video production, and that's again just playing to their interests, which they can also now see they can actually take an interest and make it into something that will ultimately give them some money later.
Is that effect rubbing off on their friends and their colleagues?
Very people are very curious. Many people are keen. Lots of people would love to do the training we did in London, like how to become an entrepreneur and like how to do the first steps. But very few people dare to take the chance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All of them help other people to do like step one, how to use social media more effectively, but not taking the whole way into entrepreneurship yet.
Yeah.
Ultimately, all of these small learnings that they pick up in school, anywhere, is just great.
Awesome.
Whatever it might be.
Yeah, no, I was really inspired by it. I thought it was really great, and I thought it's just lovely to see these two kids like really mature, doing a better job than me on live. You know, I mean, these guys are really, really good at what they're doing for their age. I mean, what? How old are they now? Because I mean,
I'll see if we can get them here. Just a second, I'll try to pull them in again. Charlie, can you vara med på några podcast? Charlie, kan du bara stoppa in huvudet här? All right, they are in the building. Like Elvis has not left. He's still here. Because again, it's just great to ask them like, why do they do it? Because it's better that they come up with whatever is important to them. So
yeah, it makes it true.
Engage your children, however young or old. Hi, Charlie.
Hi.
This is a podcast and Facebook Live.
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
I'm great.
We're talking about your entrepreneurship and how awesome you are. Because I was saying to your dad, Fredrick, that I remember seeing your junior MBA stuff over a year ago now, and I was saying it was really inspiring to see you guys and how grown up you are. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, I'm fine. Good morning.
And you both look a lot older than when I last saw the MBA. So you're growing up fast, like my children, obviously.
Yeah.
So how did you find it?
We're actually making a podcast and also Facebook Live. So Michael and myself, we met linked to Simon Sush's mastermind a couple of years ago. We have lots of mutual friends and connections, and he's launched a podcast.
That's great.
So we're doing an interview on his podcast.
You are, yeah. It's the live interview, streaming to Facebook as well. It's
exactly.
And it's going on my podcast called Mike Drops Up Close. But
so we just spoke briefly about how to engage your children, etc., and how. So there are many parents listening in.
Yeah.
So what advice could you give linked to how to raise an entrepreneur children?
How to raise entrepreneur children?
Well, at least with my dad. I mean, he's had us on this what's it called junior MBA.
Yeah.
So we were on Facebook and making videos.
A good tip is to get your children on board quite early, like Dad did with us. It was a bit harder when we were younger, but it was easier for him later on.
So basically, we were doing a lot of videos, a lot of podcasts, and he was getting us very used to cameras and stuff. And we were also doing a lot of interviews with a lot of businessmen and things, and we were learning a lot from that.
Awesome.
That's what we've been doing basically, mainly.
Yeah, I think you can see how it's really helped you in your career and moving forward and so on. You're very, very rounded people, and I can say men now because you look and sound a lot older. I mean, actually, I don't know if you've gone back to like one of your first videos, but I remember you from back then.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And
Really fun to look back.
it's scary. But you know the thing, Fredrick? I mean, the mad thing is we're saying they're growing up fast, but actually it's us that are growing at the same time. We're growing fast as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, when we started, I was very, very much a normal. Probably been like 12 or something when we started.
10, I think.
No, but for him,
Okay.
and now he's taller than me, and he's trying to get stronger than me. So I can just see how and where this can actually lead if they really take entrepreneurship to a higher level.
Yeah, I
think
think that
this early.
Yeah.
So I did not focus fully on entrepreneurship until and leaving all my work and everything until I was 40.
Yeah.
Imagine having the business learning so you can actually do it before you even hit 18.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I mean,
yeah, exactly. We're basically being taught that there are several ways to what we can do, and we're not just going to go to like a university and get a regular job and stuff. We actually we get different possibilities basically.
Yeah, but what I really loved about you guys, and I remember it from when you were younger as well, is this was something you guys really wanted to do yourselves. And I know you say you were taught. Your dad obviously was there as a mentor, but I remember you guys wanting to do it, and it was fun watching you guys grow. And what I'm really impressed of actually is because you're actually your English is really spot on. I mean, it's you're living in Sweden, aren't you?
Yeah, we lived in England for like 6 or 7 years.
Okay.
That was only until I was 10, and he was like 8.
They left. It's now almost 5 years ago since they left.
Wow. Wow, yeah, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. So that will stand you in good stead. I mean, do you speak any other languages? Because I know a lot of my friends that are from other countries, they speak more languages.
Yeah,
than people
English and Swedish, basically.
So the two.
I'm studying French, and he's studying German.
Okay, awesome.
We can't really like talk those languages.
So where would you guys like to reside? Would you like, when you're older? Is it Sweden? Is it England? Is it?
I would love to live somewhere more exotic because I really
England,
like the sound of it.
England's out of the question then.
Well, I've been thinking about that too. There are many different possibilities, but I would love to live somewhere in Asia or something like that.
Yeah. So we are now at a stage where we talk about. It's actually really important where you set up your business from a tax point of view.
Yeah,
we were talking a lot about that yesterday. So like England versus Sweden versus like stuff places like Thailand and stuff.
Especially when you're an entrepreneur, it makes a huge difference. So if you live and work as an entrepreneur and you pay yourself out of your own business in Sweden versus if you do exactly the same in Singapore, you have to work many years longer to get exactly the same result in Sweden, which is really strange. Sweden is really a great country in so many ways, but not from a taxation point of view.
Yeah.
Where the society is pushing down and lifting up. While in the UK, got a much bigger spread from people who are really, really poor to people who are really wealthy. Yeah. So I think my personal style is more suitable for America.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where there is no limit against push it. And then we spoke about tax residency and other things as well. And also what you like. Because the last 3 days, we've been basically completely offline in a spa. That's fantastic and great. But after a couple of days of just really, really enjoying yourself.
You get too slow, like, I can't.
I can't have another bath or another fantastic movie. I have to do something. I like to have the variation. So for me, it's great to have 2 countries where I actually spend a lot of time and then travel to many others. But that's not right for everyone.
Yeah, no, that's it. How does that affect you, like as a family? I mean, obviously, children are very entrepreneurial as well. But how does that affect you as a family? Because I know if I was flying away constantly, my wife would be there at my throat, literally strangling me every time I come back.
Because basically you see me half the time, which is more than most kids see their parents.
That's true.
I'm also away. So over to you.
So first of all, Dad makes up for it. So we do quite fun stuff with Dad, and we enjoy being with him while he's here. And when he's gone, Mom has to work a lot harder. It's a lot harder for her, but she manages. And I don't get sad when Dad goes away or something because he really makes up for it when he's here.
I love that, and it's true what you just said about you get to see them more than most families, because the reality is that if you're swapping your time for money and you're stuck in a job, then you don't see them anyway, and then it's bedtime and so on. So it's very, very true what you said. It's perspective how you actually view it. Really, I mean, I totally get that. I've got Snarksis on the conversational feed here saying, "Great conversation. Wow, real men growing fast." And we've got Ant Night and so on, and a few other comments. But cool, awesome.
So let's do some self-promotion.
Go for it.
Podcast called, and
yes.
And what do we do on the podcast? Why should people listen to that one?
Our podcast is called Invest in You, and it's basically investing in yourself. And why we chose the name is like a really broad topic.
I love it.
Health or wealth. So yeah, it's about investing in yourself in many different ways.
I love it. That's perfect. And it actually
had really many cool people on the podcast. As an example, Grant Cardone, we had an interview with him.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's brilliant. He's a great guy, isn't he? He's coming. Are you going to go to? There's a big event coming, the Super Conference. Are you going to that, Fredrick?
I will. They probably won't. If someone will, it will be Charlotte, because so it's much easier for them to get time off school.
Yes.
But we've used that code already quite a few times.
Yeah.
We've been flying out to do business stuff instead of school a few times this year as well.
Yeah.
Also,
How about you, you guys? Have you ever thought of did it ever cross your mind to do anything like your dad? Like what he was in the Navy in that? Or is that something you ever?
A bit interested. We'll see where it goes. Basically,
I thought about it a bit more than Charlie, I think, but I'm not sure either.
Because you've done a lot of outdoor stuff.
A lot of time. It's like
several
years maybe.
It's to do with time mostly.
Yeah,
we have guys like him that can work while they're in the military, doing overtime and then working in the night. But I don't think I can do that.
There are many benefits. You get connections, and you get utbildning, what's that in English? Education. Yeah.
You get much tougher and stronger, and
many things.
You become a better person, I think.
Yeah, I think discipline's really key, definitely. Without discipline, you can't even get up. Let's be honest. You've got to have discipline to get up. And
I'm about to kick off the podcast. Any last questions for them before they head breakfast?
Yeah. I was going to say, thank you ever so much, guys. The last question is, what would you do if you were trying to convince or kind of help children that want to start something like this but are scared? So you got to try and help push them. Sometimes people need a little bit of a push. What would you say would be the one thing that helped you guys?
Well,
maybe involve the parents, but
I would say just go for it, and also think about all the benefits of doing it. And it money and stuff, it's like a key that opens many different doors and opportunities. So basically, first of all, let them know how worth it is, and second of all, push them to just go for it.
Love it.
Good, great answer. Have the more conservative approach, where we have it more as a side hustle, and we're doing less, and we're doing more less risky stuff to get them into it. But then we also have this Charlie alternative, Grant Cardone alternative. Just do it.
Yeah, just do it. Just do it. I mean, obviously, I really believe in it. I love the 10x stuff and that. But I personally think it's got to be done in the right way, and I think Fredrick will agree. Things have to be set up. Some people are just 10x in it, and they're just going to end up in disaster. But I think you've got to have a structure around it. You've got to be prepared. Some people aren't getting his message right, and I mean, Grant does talk about education, but some people are just taking a certain part of it and running with it, and they're not getting the full picture because of the slogan. But thank you, guys. I really appreciate you guys coming on. I'll finish up the podcast with your dad. I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you. Go and have your breakfast, and have a good, have a happy Easter.
Thank you.
Take
care. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
All right.
Thank you, Fredrick. We'll wrap up. We'll wrap up quickly, and I just want to just take a couple of moments to get people that want to connect with you, whether it be to fund X, to fund some deals. I mean, you talked about some people might be pressured to get out of a bridging loan in a certain period of time and that kind of stuff. That's really powerful stuff, and that's that can save or break people literally.
Yes.
what I would say is, like, if you don't mind, I'm sure you won't, to throw a couple of minutes pitching.
Sure, I can do that.
Where people can contact you and the services you can provide.
Sure. Number one, just feel free to connect with me on any of the social media. I share stuff all the time, completely for free, so where you can get to know me better and where you can pick up ideas that have costed me many hundreds of thousands to get into my head, so I can share it to you for free.
Yeah.
My name is Fredrick Sandvall, and I'm sure we will have some links in the show notes as well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right. There's 5 in the world. There's only one which is out contenting everyone else. So I'm usually much more visible than the other ones.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. That's brilliant.
That's a phrase from Stacey Keogh, like out content them. So I like that.
I love that. That's awesome.
Run with it.
That's brilliant.
I've got 2 books coming out this year, or 3. I will not pitch all of them. I will do one with Charlie, How to Make Money as a Teenager.
Yeah,
that's coming out later. We have also got Trust is New Currency, which is coming out around June, and then also another book which is around investment tactics, which is very much how to raise finance for your business.
Awesome.
So those will all be available, of course, on Amazon. Again, I highly recommend just tap into the free stuff, because many of the speakers we get onto the podcast, they usually charge a fortune to speak at all, and they can join you in your ears for free.
Yeah, absolutely.
What else? I will most likely, subject to my time availability, set up another mastermind group which has got just one purpose: learn how to raise money in all ways that they're out there.
Awesome.
So it's like a whole 12-month program on how to raise finance. So the first group, they raised around £10 million.
Wow.
Non-bank finance, and they that's also including my numbers, but nevertheless, that's on non-bank finance.
So when you get that set up, drop us the link and I'll share it with people on the. I'll update
sure.
Yeah.
No, awesome. It's very simple. I will, as soon as I get the right number of people joined up, we will start again. I had planned to do it in May, but now I've been doing too many other things, so I will be a drag on with the start. So that's just a whole year of how to be accountable and learn how to find money for your business or for your property or anything else.
Awesome.
So there was a huge gap in the market, really, where you can learn a couple of hours from an expert over here, or the same from over there. There's not really anyone taking the very bold action to try to claim the space. You might find like a 1-day training and 2-day training, but what you're missing is the accountability.
Yeah.
Just like we spoke about the peer group. So if you can learn how, just to put this into a framework here, I am, again, public accountability is always great. If you think about what I have at the moment, if I'm going to 10x that, and so on, that means I need to also challenge myself. I need to upgrade my peer group to get the right advisors, so that I can do what you might not have seen what Grant Cardone is doing in the US, but to do a 10th of what he's doing to start with. That's still quite a lot of money. That's still $1 billion.
Well,
but in Swedish crowns.
You're already doing very well, and it's amazing how you how you actually got started, how you've created this, how you've gone from one thing and done another thing, and they've all been successful. We've got Ole Bo Larsen just saying next level. He's messaged you. 10K was great to be part of. He says Ole Bo Larsen. And yeah, like I said, it was it's been an absolute pleasure having you on here. Really appreciate your time. You are one of a few really great guys that I connected with a few years back, and are happy to know you because you're really genuinely a decent guy. You do give a lot of content. And
we have scratched the surface. We have to schedule another one another time. We can dive even deeper.
I know. I was just about to say, because I know there's a hell of a lot more, but we've done over an hour. It's good. I know. But what we could do, Fredrick, actually, is might make a lot of sense to do another catch-up podcast. A lot of people do.
Absolutely,
2-3 parts.
And I also like to congratulate you for what most likely is your longest podcast so far.
Probably is. Definitely. Brilliant. welcome to Mike Drops Up Close, and thank you, Fredrick, for your time. You're a legend. I appreciate it, and God bless. You take care, my friend, and I'll see you soon.
Take care. Thanks all.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye bye.